please state your full name for the jury?
It's Sherry Ann Samuel.
Could you give us your last mailing address?
It was.
Just to be clear again, we're here today regarding litigation stemming from a motor vehicle incident that occurred around Tuesday, April 10th, 2012. Where were you on that day?
We actually were in Fort Lauderdale. We were leaving for a company trip on a cruise and decided that day to walk across from our hotel and check out the beach.
You said we. Who were you with that day?
My husband and I.
Were you with anyone else?
No, it's just the two of us.
What area were you walking towards the beach? What part of town?
I couldn't tell you that.
Okay. What time of day was it?
I'm assuming it was afternoon.
How did you get to the beach from where you were coming from? Was it all on foot?
Yeah, we were walking.
Okay. As you approached the beach, what did you see?
I'm
just ask you to kind of describe it for me, if you
will. We stepped onto the beach, then just walked with the guard shack that was there on the beach. It was to our left, and to our right, we visibly noticed the young lady that was laying on the sand with her T-shirt over her face, sunning.
All right. What happened after that?
As we got towards the front of the guard shack, there was an SUV parked, and there was a female in the SUV, and she was leaned out her window talking to some other people out her window. And we noticed that as we crossed in front of the SUV. Do you want me to continue?
Which way was the truck that was parked in front of the lifeguard shack? Which way was it facing?
The headlights were towards us. It was parked sideways in front of the guard shack, and so we naturally had to cross the front of it.
Was anyone in the truck?
The female was the lady behind the wheel. She was leaned out the window, talking with others.
Okay, and what happened after that?
We hadn't taken, I don't know if we had taken 3 or 4 steps together towards the ocean, and we literally heard screaming, and we both turned around and noticed the vehicle was on top of the lady that we had just passed by. And at that point, the lifeguard leaned her head out the window as if she was looking to see where she was hearing the screaming. And we proceeded to yell at her that she was over the lady that was laying on the beach. And she started to move her vehicle, and we hollered at her again and told her not to move the vehicle. Of course, we were scared of what she was on, or could cause injury to the lady underneath. So she gets out of her truck and proceeds to try to grab and pull, and my husband yelled at her and said, "No, dig," so that her body would drop and then be able to pull her out. And so my husband helped dig the sand out so that she could fall down and be pulled out from underneath the vehicle.
What did the lifeguard do? How did the lifeguard touch the sunbather as she was pulling? You said she was pulling her out. How did she pull her out?
Just reaching under the vehicle. From what I recall, I remember that it was more of her midsection, her waist area, to be able to pull that way, because she was pulled out from the side of the vehicle, not from the front, not from the rear, but from the side.
And which side?
It was the driver's side.
At that point, after Mrs. was out from under the vehicle, what did the female lifeguard, do in terms of touching her after she was out?
I mean, from what I remember, she just sat her right up. And I don't know what else other than brushing her off, the sand off of her, just looking at her. I don't recall anything else being done. I just know that she was just taking it very casually, saying that she was okay, that she'd be okay, and we insisted that she call someone.
Going back to what you saw before this happened, when you saw Miss, could you describe how she was laying on the sand?
It was out a ways. I mean, I'm not good with distance, but she was out a good ways from the guard shack. It made sense to us if someone didn't literally get out of their vehicle the way it was positioned and check out that area, then naturally making that turn to the right. I mean, it was no surprise to us that she got ran over, but she was just laying there and did have her face covered up because she was quite dazed when she was pulled out because, I mean, she couldn't see anything, and all of a sudden something's on top of her. So, but she was, quite dazed from it all.
Going back, you indicated that the lifeguard sat her up when you talked about Miss. Could you describe the action of what she did when she sat her up?
I mean, just was kneeled down beside her when she was pulled out and they pulled her away from the truck. I mean, just literally sat her straight up. And of course, she was leaning forward some because she was just distraught over what had happened, just was trying to figure it out.
How many people did it take to get Miss dug out from under the truck?
Possibly 3.
Miss Samuels, what happened after the ambulance was called?
Once they did whatever they do, I mean, the police were there and we were tied up the whole time with the police, nearly a couple hours. Them question us together, them question us separately. It took the rest of the afternoon that we had to spend. So we didn't no longer pay attention as to what was being done with her once the police started talking to us.
When you were crossing towards the water, the lifeguard stand was on your left, and then would have been on your right?
Correct.
Okay, and then as you were crossing, did you actually see the lifeguard SUV in front of you?
The SUV was to our left. The headlights were facing us to the left, and she was hanging out.
Well, you told us about your memory. This incident happened over 6 years ago, did not?
That's correct.
Is it fair to say that you don't recall all the specific details of that day?
Yeah, that is very true.
Did you see any of the lifeguards apply oxygen?
No, they didn't.
Are you saying that they didn't do it? Or
We did not see that. We did not see that happen.
Okay. Did you see any of the lifeguards apply a collar for neck support for Ms. Mazzell?
No, sir, not at all.
Okay. Do you know who carried her from the area around the SUV across the beach and into the ambulance?
No, I couldn't tell you who all did that.